It's a poison. That doesn't help the stress level. No, don't do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. You donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Here we are, folks. Here we are. This is a very, very special show. This is what I've waited for forever. This was always the dream for this show, was that we would all be together talking about these games that matter, with Notre Dame mattering, with national stuff mattering, with Notre Dame garnering national respect. This right now, this vibe, this feeling, whatever you guys are feeling, whatever you're thinking, whatever's in your heart, whatever's in your body right now, all this stuff, you guys, this is what Notre Dame football is really about. And it just feels darn good to get back to it. It feels darn good to get back to it. This vibe, this energy is what it should be like in Notre Dame all the time. And I am so glad that we are here talking about a Notre Dame team that matters on the national college football scene and stage. This is it. This is that moment. This is special stuff. And I appreciate you all wanting to be here with me. We got a bunch of callers. I want to see what you guys think. Keys to the game, predictions. What's your anxiety level? How are you handling all this? For me, you guys, we reached a certain point and it kind of snuck up on me where you're like celebrating Georgia. And then somehow it sneaks up to you, this Penn State thing. Like it wasn't a conscious thing, but it was like celebrate Georgia in your mind and all that stuff. Look at the highlights on YouTube, whatever. And then we hit a certain point and the switch flipped and it became all about Penn State. The fake tough guy head coach, something about the quarterback rubs me the wrong way. And I'm just telling you this right now. I'm not letting the Sasquatch beat me. And I mean Sasquatch in the most complimentary of terms. I don't care how many resources you have to apply to the guy. I don't care if you got to bracket him with the old secondary. I'm not letting that guy beat us. I'm not letting that guy beat us. Pat? I love you. I needed that. I'm wound tight. I needed that. I'm not letting the Sasquatch beat us. I'm just not. And so you could do whatever else you're going to do. I'm not. I'm crashing the line of scrimmage. I'm not letting them run the ball. I'm bracketing that tight end. That's my plan. Uncle Al, dial it up. Dial it up, Uncle Al. He's been in the lab. He's going to have something cooked up. Dial it up. Get some pressure on this kid. Welcome in. As always, I am wound so tight. And again, it's not because like when I said I was wound tight with Indiana, it wasn't because I was scared of Indiana. It's just this moment on this stage for Notre Dame. This is how I get. This is how I get. As always, thanks for being here. Do hit subscribe on YouTube if you haven't yet. I really do appreciate it. A lot of new people jumping on board here. A lot of new people jumping on board on Patreon. And it means the world to me. So thank you guys for the support. As always, hit subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, notifications on. That way you don't miss nothing. You know what the problem with beef jerky is? Even I like beef jerky, but it costs as much as a steak these days. Jeez, you go to a gas station, I'm going to get a piece of beef jerky. That'll be $22. What are you, out of your mind? It's dried, salty meat. You're charging me $18. Why is beef jerky so overpriced? I don't understand, bro. I can't justify it. It's just like $20 for a bag of beef. You can get a full meal. Son of a buck with the beef jerkies. As always, you can find me on Twitter. Search bar Always Irish Rat, Always Irish Shake. Emails alwaysirishmd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you can get it. Call in line 312-900-8815. Dialed up. Tell Uncle Johnny all you've heard and seen. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, brought to you by Sports Illustrated. How I am processing some of this is I put out content, man. I get an idea. I'm worried about something. I write an article about it. I'm thinking about the tight end. I write an article about it. I'm thinking about the new vibes around Notre Dame. I write an article about it. Like, that's how I'm handling it, is whatever comes to my mind, comes to my heart, whatever. I did a Patreon about Frank Leahy yesterday. Like, whatever it is, man. The content is what's helping me deal with some of this, because anything that shoots into my messed up, twisted Notre Dame brain, I write about or record about. That's the healthiest way I know how to deal with this kind of anxiety. I am wound tight. I am wound tight. I need Notre Dame to lay the wood to these people. Shouldn't even have a program. Lay the wood on these people. Let's do a couple of super chats and we'll get to the calls. I'm sorry about that. I just messed up my whole set. I'm moving things around. Son of a buck. Your host is struggling here. Brian Irish, keep those calls coming. We're coming to you. Penn State fans are annoying. So much smack talking from a program who's done way less than Notre Dame in the last 15 years. Here's what I like. Yesterday, I was assured, and then I was reassured again, that the Notre Dame program and the players and the staff are well aware of when James Franklin said his little piece about Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, they shouldn't even be in the playoff hunt. I have been told that the Notre Dame program is well aware of that. I like it. I like it a lot. Pull all that kind of stuff out. Have that stuff playing on a loop. I hear Carter might be a ghost to look out on the edge. He ain't healthy. He could go. It's like love. He might go, but he ain't near healthy. Take that however you want. It's like love. He may go, but there's no way you're selling me that he's totally healthy. So if that guy plays, you certainly have to account for him in all ways. I'm just saying there's no way he's 100% and he's banged up. So whatever. Burks. Phil, he hasn't been performing well in the playoffs. He's not fully. Again, that's what I'm saying. Whatever, man, he could play, but I know he's not healthy, and whatever. Notre Dame's beat up too. Nobody feels bad. This is a war of attrition when you get down the line this far. It's been a long year. Christopher, mentally, I think we're ready, at least, so the pattern indicates victory for ND. Major question I have is, can Notre Dame maintain the physical? I believe they're dialed in mentally and emotionally to this, and they're hitting the right chords there. I like the Franklin stuff being brought up. Can Notre Dame maintain the physical intensity they had against Indiana and against Georgia? Or is it just, it's one too many weeks with the personnel losses we have, and you're just not able to operate it at that high frequency level again? That is one question I have. That doesn't question Notre Dame's heart. That's not questioning the players or the coaches or the motivation or the effort. On a human physiological level, I'm asking if Notre Dame, as banged up as they are, can maintain that intensity level they've had the first two rounds. And so I don't know whether that catches up to you eventually and you just can't do it again, or if this team is so dialed in and so amped up on adrenaline and excitement that ain't nothing stopping them now. It ain't nothing stopping them now. Not easy to do, but cover 44. Notre Dame wins again. Uncle Al, this is your specialty, man. Dial up a bracket. Do whatever you need to do to shadow this guy. Whatever it is, I'm not letting him beat me. Their quarterback's a statue on 3rd and long. You need to get to him before he can throw it to this Sasquatch where this guy walks out of a gas station and people record it and it's blurry and they put it on YouTube and it counts as a Sasquatch sighting. The guy's a monster. Let's just admit it. And Notre Dame fans are a little jealous because we're used to having the tight end monster over the middle that catches everything, and you just aren't getting that level of production out of the tight ends this year. I don't think they've been healthy. So in their recovery and everything, it's just, I'm not letting that guy get us. I ain't. I can't do it. Singletary, can't do it. I can't do it. I can't win with them. I want winners. I can't do it. Squatch. Mikey pulls. This is the most important game of my life. Well, that'll help me calm down, Mikey. This is the most important game of my lifetime. My most hated team, Penn State. Growing up 30 minutes from State College, I've dealt with these horrible fans my whole life. I need this win so badly. Mikey, I want it for you, brother. I love you and I want it for you. And I respect your effort to get to that Indiana game. Sid Irish, I don't see any team beating Ohio State anyways. Here's my thought on that. Number one is it would be an error for us to get ahead of ourselves and discuss such things, so we're not going to do it. Here's all I'm going to say, and this is what I've been writing too. There is a reason games are not played on a recruiting database, digital simulation, and they are played on a field. There is a reason. If you get in a championship game, you do not have to have a better roster than Ohio State. You do not have to be an overall better, more talented team than Ohio State. You don't even have to be a healthier team than Ohio State. You just need to make a few big plays and be better than them on one night, and you're the champions. That's it. And the way I look at this is if Notre Dame's fortunate enough to be in that position, all the pressure would be on Ohio State. All the pressure would be on Ryan Day. Like, he's the longer tenured coach that people wanted fired. Like, all this pressure. Everybody's going to favor Ohio State. Look at how good they look. Nobody could beat them or whatever. That is perfect. You would want to let that all run. You would want to let that all run and let all that pressure amount on that side. And then you're in the championship game. You're gaining national credibility for making it there, and you roll the dice. But there is a reason these games are played on a field and not a digital recruiting talent database. And Notre Dame, Georgia kind of showed that. $5 holler from Steven. Again, we're winning this game 24-10. Woo, baby. I just can't fear a James Franklin team. There's going to be a reckoning here, you guys. And a reckoning for old Johnny boy here. Almost through the chats, and we'll go to the calls. There's going to be a reckoning here. You know, I've been hammering James Franklin for years for his Brian Kelly-esque big game record. I feel this is the measuring stick game for Franklin that Georgia was for Freeman. I'm sorry, but SMU and Boise, you get credit for beating him, but it doesn't move the needle like beating this Notre Dame team would. I have been hammering Franklin for his Brian Kelly big game antics and results. I'm either going to be proven right or he's going to be dunking on my face. There is no in between. I'm either going to be proven correct about my judgments about that guy, or he is going to dance on my grave and slam dunk in my freaking face. It's one or the other. Mark with glasses, you're darn right. You darn tootin'. Give me 4 more quarters of FU football. Does Notre Dame have it in them physically? I know they got the heart. I know they got the emotion. Does Notre Dame have it in them physically to deliver that kind of physicality and effort again? I'm going to tell you this right now, folks. It really is good to have a Rudiger here, especially for a moment like this. It's always good to have Angela here. It means something to me to have a Rudiger in here on a moment like this. It really does. The rotate $10 holler. It's a bad time to be a Notre Dame hater. The mental gymnastics people have gone through to convince themselves Notre Dame is overrated, even though they keep winning, is sad. It's really enjoyable to watch. People, I said it before, when this is breaking people's brains. The concept that Notre Dame is doing all this and surpassed the SEC winning team and all this, it is people, they cannot handle it in their brain. It literally, when Notre Dame's good, it breaks people's brains. They cannot accept it. They will not, they can't process it. And they're running out of excuses to denigrate Notre Dame on this run. It's a beautiful thing watching all these people twist their brain into pretzels to find reasons to crap on what Notre Dame's doing. It's so beautiful. Bring it. Keep it coming. Philly special $2 holler. Tomorrow is huge. Phil, you ain't wrong. Callahan Auto Parts, $5 holler. I think ND needs to take a deep chance in the first drive. I bet it's shock state. Here, I've been having visions. You know how I am. I got a weird Notre Dame mind, you guys. I'm having visions. And one of my visions is, I think there's a lot of belief in Jordan Faison as an it factor guy. Like, he just has it. And there's something about Jordan Faison that everybody feels. He just makes things happen. It wouldn't surprise me if they try and shake him loose down the field a couple of times. I think Notre Dame is going to feel the desire and the need here to open it up, maybe just a little bit, not crazy with it, but just enough, and take some shots you weren't maybe comfortable enough doing against Georgia and their athletes or whatever. Look for Jordan Faison. He is that it guy that just has a way about him to make really good things happen. It wouldn't surprise me if they do a couple things with a heavy play action, get everybody moving one way. One of those post routes, whatever it is. I'm just telling you, I'm having visions of Faison getting open and breaking a couple things further down the field than we're used to. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but these visions are coming to me like the ghost of Frank Leahy visits me at night. I'm telling you, this Notre Dame thing is getting to me, man. It's getting to me. I put out the Patreon yesterday morning talking about Frank. I'm like, I got tears coming to my eyes. Like, this is just, it's new territory. Eric, my lawyer in Michigan, $20 holler. John, how great is this? ND fans get more football in January. I'm telling you, man, it has just been, it's been what we've always wanted. It's been what we've always, it just feels so good to be on this side of this, talking about stuff that matters again. And this is really special stuff here. And we're going to find out how much Notre Dame has left in the tank. That's one of my biggest questions. How much do they have left in the tank? Tom says we should get Jaden Harrison more involved with the offense. If the guy certainly deserves an opportunity after what he did with that kickoff. You can't find something. I think I picked, what did I write up in Sports Illustrated? 28-20 Notre Dame, something like that. 28-17. I got Notre Dame doing their thing. My man 559, $2 holler. Went from 0 to 100. It is FU football time. That is for darn sure. Penn State has consulted NIU. They are ready with the winning game plan. Yeah, man. Hey, whatever that NIU coach taught Marcus Freeman, he did a pretty good job because we haven't lost 6. And you won 9 games. You won 9 games by double digits. I see people comparing WPP and Ronald McDonald and the commander and all that stuff. It's just hard to tell who's playing a character and not. You guys, that's the problem I have is when you're trying to say, like, who's a bigger troll. I don't know who's playing a character for the sake of this show and who's being real. And so it makes it hard for me to judge that. Oh, man. What a time to be alive in Notre Dame land if you're my age. This is such new territory. And it's so different than when Kelly made it and all that. It was one game with the big layoff, or maybe 2 games with the big layoff, and then you didn't really believe in Notre Dame. Like, even in those moments, it was hard to believe in Notre Dame. I don't know. Pilney, $20 holler. Penn State historically has had ND's number. Lou Holtz had a losing streak against him in 91 seasons. Once when ND was undefeated. I know Franklin is different. 88, 92 Snowball were outliers. I mean, I understand that history. It's just, am I going to worry about that from the old days? Like, it's just a whole new ball game, man. It's a whole new ball game. And I just, Dr. John, good to see you here. You're going to come up. Okay, so let me take a look at the call lines. So we got plenty of callers. So everybody, we're going to try and do the 5-minute thing so that I can, we can move through this. 44 cannot be stopped, says the Hamburglar. So I'm assuming it's a long-lost relative of Ronald McDonald. Or it is Ronald McDonald, and he's changed into the Hamburglar for this purpose. There's a bunch of different ways to slow that guy down. I'm not telling you he's going to have no catches and not do anything athletic because Notre Dame's on the field. What I'm saying is you do a good job of bracketing him, and then when it's 3rd and long and their go-to and they want to go to him or whatever, get pressure. If you could pressure this quarterback, he will panic. He will get frustrated. He will get mad. Like, you got to crank up the heat on this dude and not give him a perfect pocket to sit there and let that tight end break branches off trees and run through the woods and knock everything over and get open. It ain't happening. I can't handle the idea that you're going to let that guy beat you. I'm not doing it. Any other way, you guys, go ahead and beat us. I am selling out to crash the line of scrimmage. I'm bracketing that guy. Beat me another way. I don't care. If that burns us, I'm that's how I'm living and dying here, man. I'm not. God. Notre Dame's offense. What are they going to do in this moment? All right, let's see what's up with the calls. Dr. John, this is a special one, man. This is a very, very special show to have, and I'm glad that you're starting us off.
Good morning, John. Thank you. I had, excuse me, a long list of stuff, but you're being wound tight. I think there's so many guys across the country right now that are trying to figure out how to deal with all this. I was having a chat yesterday with a friend from Idaho, down in Arizona now, and he relayed a story about another friend who, the way we handle these games is so different. This one guy who is also a friend of mine, he has to watch the game by himself. He cannot watch it with anybody else.
Yep. Yeah.
His brother, who graduated from law school, he can't watch the game at all. He records them. If Notre Dame wins, he watches it. If they don't, he doesn't watch it.
See, I'm an adrenaline junkie. And like, I crave the anxiety, though, right, Dr. John? Like, I love this kind of anxiety, although it takes a toll on me physically and mentally. Like, I crave this kind of anxiety. Like, that's what this is all about, you know? And it's just, I like watching games alone too, man. I just need to do my own thing. And then I'm not offending anyone else. I'm not ruining anybody else's day. There's nobody annoying me. Like, Dr. John, you couldn't pay me $5,000 to watch this game at a bar. It would never happen in a million. I just couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like, I just couldn't do it. There's no way.
Well, I've got to, because I don't get ESPN. So the 2 daughters that live out here, the 3 of us are going someplace. But thank goodness it's not on NBC, because my problem with that is, I live next door to my middle daughter, and they don't get NBC, but they get Peacock. So I'll come over and watch it on Peacock. I said, I can't. It's a minute behind NBC. I can't handle that.
Yeah.
So we all have our quirks, but so we got to go someplace. So the thing that concerns me more than anything, and my my oldest daughter told me to shut up when I told her this. I said, I'm really worried now. She said, why? I said, I'm starting to feel confident. Don't do that, she says. So
I know. Doc, doesn't it just like, at what point does it get to where, like, why am I going to doubt Notre Dame now? This team is not healthy. They are beat up. It is not what I envision a top end Freeman roster looking like. There are personnel groupings that I don't think are up to par. Like, I have all these concerns in the injuries, and look what you're doing anyways. At this point, why root against it? Why pick against them now? You know, like, a part of me feels that.
You know, they've been amazing. The coaching has been amazing. How they're doing this when their roster's shot full of holes. It speaks so much about Freeman and his recruiting and the use of the portal and everything. And I originally had a hard time with the portal just because there's so much tradition in my head. You know, you don't want white pants. You don't want this. You don't want that. But no, they've done a remarkable job. And I searched through the stats, even though I don't, think they mean much. And this game is so even. It's just so even.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going to happen. Again, I always come down to Leonard's got to take care of the ball, and we need to play good defense. I think that's right where it is again. So, yeah,
it is. It's just interesting, man. You're like, even with the quarterback situation last week, you want to think if Notre Dame could be that physical and that athletic against a Georgia roster, surely they could do it again against Penn State, right? Like that's a something that's been in my mind. But these games are played on paper and not any other statistical database or recruiting database. You got to go out there and be the team that makes the big plays one more time. And then you roll the dice in a title game where anything could happen. Like we're at that point, Dr. John. Things have escalated quickly, my friend.
Yep, I got 2 points, and then get to the phone lines. Number one, there's a new Leahy book coming out. I don't know if you know that.
Yes, I did. Is it Ivan Maisel? Is that who it is? I did hear about that.
I don't know, in April or something like that. Anyway, the other thing is, and this bodes well for the game, Connor couldn't get tickets.
I know.
So that's a plus.
Isn't that a shame? I was crying over it. I'm acting like I'm sad for him, but deep down, I'm kind of glad he's not going. I will say this, though. My brother's going to be there because he lives not far from this location, and he's going to be there. And my brother was also there in 2017 for that nightmare against Miami, and my brother's theme is revenge. My brother wants revenge from that night and that nightmare in that building, and he is seeking revenge from that 2017 nightmare. And it's a big deal for Andrew. So anybody who wants to hang out with the Always Irish group, look for the flag in the parking lot.
Well, here's the last positive thing. I wasn't allowed to get tickets. I got another one of those letters from the administration saying you cannot go to the game. Because the last time we were in Hard Rock Stadium, I was there, and you know what happened. So,
yeah.
So the Connor's not going to be there. I'm not going to be there. Those 2 positive points.
Doc, this is a big one, buddy. This is just, I am wound.
It is.
I'm wound so tight, Doc. Like I'm ready for this, though, man. This is what this is all about. And I love this energy and this renewed electricity surrounding Notre Dame's program. You're finally earning some respect on the field. And that is what I have been longing for my entire adult life, is for Notre Dame to truly go on the field and start earning national respect. You did some of that last week. It's time to crank it up another notch this week.
I agree. We play good defense. Leonard does his thing, and we win this game. And you're having a post-game show?
Oh, of course I'm having a post-game show. Whether it's good or bad, I'm going to be here. Whether it's good or bad, I'm going to be here. I need to be with my people, man. Whether it's good or bad, I need to be here.
Okay, well, try to get some sleep tonight. So you're in good shape for the game.
Oh, Doc.
And we'll check in. We'll check in after the game.
Will do. Love you, buddy. Enjoy this one. Enjoy it.
Okay, love you too. Go Irish. Let's go get these guys.
Let's get them. Oh, man, I love Dr. John. Closest thing I'm ever going to have to Grandpa Kennedy back. The guy is not allowed to croak. He's not allowed to croak. He better live forever. What are the odds? What the odds be great or small? Dr. John's going to live longer than them all. You're not allowed to die. Knuckle up, $5 holler. Is a one-leg Spindler better than a two-leg Pendleton? Spindler's lack of mobility showed against Georgia. I don't know, man. I don't know. Geez. Wow, Curtis. Real creative on the family show. Good job. Like, come on, man. Like, it's 9:30 in the morning. Do we have to talk about houses of inappropriate ladies this early in the morning? Get a grip. Get a grip. Oh, man. Mark with glasses, it's good to see you here. Let me see something. What in the world? Tom Frawley, Chicago's very own. What's going on, buddy? Welcome. Good morning.
Don, how are you?
I am wound tight.
You hanging in there?
I am wound tight.
I know.
But you
found it.
I mean, you know how I am, man. I am wound tight, but I'm enjoying the ride, man. This is what it's all about. And these are the shows I dreamed about having when I started this program in 2016. I dreamed of this moment. I'm happy to be here with the people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got to hop because I got a lot of stuff going today. But here, real quick. So Notre Dame's going to be able to run the ball. I believe they're going to be able to run the ball to the perimeter very well. Penn State, very quick on defense, right? But they're nowhere near as big and as tall and as girthy and as strong as Georgia's defense. That's what created the push, and it took Notre Dame out of executing on some of those wheel route passes, some of the RPO, and we saw it. They're going to have to. They'll clean up the execution part, but I really believe by the second half, there's going to be an opportunity where they can run a little misdirection, what they call counter tray, and zone block down and counter it. And I think you'll see 3 or 4 plays where they're going to gash Penn State, and then there's an opportunity where they're going to be able to take the top of the defense off. I don't know where that's going to happen. I don't know when he's going to take his shots. But what we saw from Denbrock last week is he did open the playbook up a little bit, and you saw how wonderfully well he called that game. So look for more of that. It's going to boil down to you got Al Golden, Denbrock, and Freeman versus James Franklin. So all these Penn State fans out here talking garbage. Oh, God, they're annoying. And this harkens back to the old days in the 80s when I used to see these Penn State fans, especially the ones from Eastern Pennsylvania and the Philadelphia area. They're the worst sports fans. They're like the Philadelphia fans, the people that booed and threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
Yeah.
These people are evil. So I hope Notre Dame beats them by 5 touchdowns. I really do. And I've always respected Penn State, the team, growing up. But the fans, and what does it say about people like the Georgia fans and all the anti-Notre Dame fans that just jump on these Notre Dame message boards and shows? I've got better things to do with my time. I want to hang around with Notre Dame fans, and I want to hang around with right-thinking Americans, not these idiots. Get a life. Jesus Christ Almighty, get a life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. I have been limiting my social media exposure the last week. I've been busy getting content out, but I do not have time to engage with every single awful bad take and every insult to Notre Dame of people that can't handle that we won a big game. It will wear you up. If you allow it to, it will drain you if you allow yourself to totally go down all those rabbit holes. And 5-6 years ago, I would fall for it every time. And I'm not doing it anymore. So it's breaking people's brains. It's breaking people's brains that Notre Dame is competitive at eye level again. They don't know how to handle it. It's breaking people's brains.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's still, and they're still coming with the, you got to join the conference. Your conference sucks. You don't play anybody. Da, 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 da. You know, on and on and on. And I just love it. I just love it. And then what's going to be nice, after we win the national championship here, guess where we're kicking off next year?
Yeah.
We're kicking off on Labor Day weekend in the middle of a swampy hurricane season in Miami. So we got to play those ingrates down there. And then we got to play Texas A&M. And then we got to play Boise State. So they want, and then USC. And it goes on and on. They're going to talk to us for playing a national schedule. They couldn't hold Notre Dame's jockstrap.
Yeah.
So I'm so tired of it. I'm glad that they're building the team the way they are, building them very tough-minded and together. And that's the other thing that aggravates them so much, is that they did use the transfer portal within the rules of the game, and then the natural recruits at Notre Dame, the core recruits of Notre Dame that are staying there. I mean, look at the quarterback situation at Notre Dame. At every other school, if the situation was almost identical, do you think Minchie and Carr stick around? They'd have already been gone.
Yeah.
And Jelly and Minchie would have already been gone. They'd have been in the portal. They're sticking around. Why are they sticking around, John? Culture? Got a chance of playing on a national championship team, maybe 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big ask, but this is the thing we have to think about instead of all the negativity. And guess what? Penn State's not going to be there next year. Georgia's not going to be there next year. Alabama's not going to be there next year.
Yeah.
I love that. You know who's really got the shots at doing well next year again? Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Michigan. 3 teams north of the 3 blue bloods north of the Mason-Dixon line. Take that, SEC fans. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
God.
They need a dose of reality.
Tom, I love you, man.
Cam Newton and all the rest of those idiots on ESPN that are lazy journalists. They don't know anything about Notre Dame. I've seen some of the narrative this week. You know, and I'm still talking about, well, Notre Dame, you know, they're holier than now. And they think, holier than now about what? Notre Dame hasn't won a national championship in 36 years.
That's a good point.
All we've been doing is trying to survive.
Yeah.
So there's nobody, even some of the stuck-up alumni that we know that is out there, they're not crowing about. They're just humbly taking these victories. We're not rubbing it in people's faces, and we never have.
Yeah, Tom.
They just want to.
God bless you.
I hate. I can't stand those people.
Tom, the best part about you is you are like one of the nicest people I've ever met, and you're like really like thoughtful and respectful and have morals and values and everything. And like, but and every once in a while you flip the switch and go into rage mode and just like rip off a string of insults that is so high quality, dude. And you flip the switch. You're like nice guy, Catholic Tom from Chicago that I love. And then you flip the switch and you let it rip. And then you go right back to the rosary. I love you, Tom. Never change. You're one of my favorite Notre Dame people. You're one of my favorite Notre Dame people. Never change.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you.
No,
Tom.
you got to keep. That's the way you have to do. It's kind of a bunker mentality. You know that idiot in Columbus talks about, oh, it's Ohio against the world. Really? Try and be a Notre Dame fan. With all the anti-Notre Dame stuff, the anti-Catholic stuff that's been going on for over 100 years.
Yeah.
Then come talk to me, Ryan Day.
Yeah.
You know, and stop on that swan in the way and get your beard colored, you.
Tom, Tom, I love you, man. Enjoy the rest of the day. Try and find a way to relax.
Yeah, we're going to win tomorrow.
Yeah, try and find a way to relax.
I like the Irish 31-20 tomorrow.
Oh, baby. And then you know darn well I'll be here 1 minute after the game. If you feel compelled, give me a call, please.
All right, guys. God bless.
Tom, take care, buddy. Man, I love that dude. Dude, I've had some phone conversations with Tom offline that is just, he is the Notre Dameist of old school Notre Dame values guy. It is absolutely a beautiful thing. $10 holler from Pilney. Would be great to win the Orange Bowl, something Notre Dame has not done since '89. That's a long time. Not going to lie, that's a long time. I got bad news for you. I want that lamp behind John. A estate sale from somebody old that died in Evanston, Illinois, along the lakefront there. And it was just somebody old that died, and they had like an estate sale or something. And one of my relatives went there, saw this, and had to have it and gave it to me for Christmas a couple years ago. That's how that happened. I've never seen another one. I've looked it up online and you can't find it. I don't know how these people had it. And it weighs a ton. That thing is so heavy. It's beautiful. I love it, love it, love it. Look at this. Going back to the calls, don't you worry. John, I'm glad I was wrong about Jeter. I feel comfortable if we would need him, go Irish one game at a time. Well, here's my answer to this. I don't feel like anybody worrying about let me say this. I don't feel like anyone was wrong for worrying about Jeter. They run that stat. They run that stat saying that Notre Dame through most of the year had the lowest made field goal percentage of any team in America. So I don't feel like anyone was wrong for worrying about this, because for a large portion of the year, Notre Dame was like barely over 50% in field goals. Are you outside your mind? Horrible. And then the guy got healthy again, and he found his confidence again. And you make a couple against Indiana in that tricky weather. Then you make a couple clutch ones to start building a margin against Georgia, and suddenly you feel good again. But it wasn't our fault. None of us were wrong for any of that. None of us were wrong for worrying about that. He just got healthier and got better. AK, my brother, $20 holler. I will be there, orange lot east of stadium with the Always Irish flag flying. Thank you, John, for creating this community, and thank you for letting everybody always calling in and chatting. You're a part of the family. Listen, this is a family affair now, man. This is a family affair. Everybody, Always Irish Senior, has his own vibe. Everybody loves my mom at all these events. And you got Andrew, the quiet brother, right? The quiet brother that's big and has muscles. And then there's me. That's why I make Andrew does the camera work at the tailgates and stuff, because he's so much taller than me. He can get above everything and get good views. John, what did you have for breakfast today? Are you up? Zero stress. Stress flakes. What do you mean, what did I have for breakfast? Nothing. Zero. You don't eat at a time like this. What do you think this is? What do you think this is? You think I could eat in a time like this? I'll need a diaper. No. Coffee and stress fuels me. Oh, I got a Penn State fan holding? Let's see what's going on. I like this. Let's see. Whatever that is, they are not on the line. So I don't know what you're talking about. They are not on the line. Mason, what's going on? I see you, Andrew, as well. Mason, what's up, buddy?
Hey, John. How's it going this morning?
Mason, I mean, you and I have been friends many, many years, and you know I'm wound tight. I'm wound tight. I mean, I feel good about what Notre Dame's doing, obviously, but I'm wound tight, and you know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. Also haven't eaten anything today, and tomorrow will be worse, but I was just able to tap into the show here, and I wanted to get your thoughts on kind of what this is all going to look like moving forwards, because the two best players in this Orange Bowl here, I mean, Penn State's best player and our best player both aren't 100%. And there's a chance that neither of them really play that much. What are your thoughts on that? It just brings a whole different element to the game.
Yeah, it's it's really interesting, man, because you have the people that are out, and then you have the people that are going to play, but they're not 100%. and I have no doubt.
No one's 100% at this point.
Yeah, it's a battle of attrition when you add another month to the season, basically, against theoretically good teams. Like, it is a battle of attrition. And nobody's going to feel bad for anybody. Everybody's dealing with injuries or whatever. It's just, where is the line, Mason, between limited and worth playing versus like so limited it's just not worth it anymore? I've been thinking about that. Like, how much action do you expect Love to get with the clunky brace and whatever? Like how much action do you think he's going to get?
Yeah, I wrote about that actually because that was on my mind too. I put up like, what's the opportunity cost of playing Jeremiah Love? Like, of course, you don't want to just get past Penn State because I think overall this is a better team. They in Georgia, they may not have like the top end talent, but I think overall they do have the top end talent, not as much as Georgia, I should say. But I think I've been seeing some people that are like, yeah, just sit Love. We'll be just fine against Penn State. And like, in a perfect world, if you could sit Love and then you have him theoretically 100% for the national championship, that would be great. I think you need him to beat Penn State, and maybe that's only 5 or 7 touches, but what if one of those is a home run?
Yeah. It's and it seems like he's always good for one of those breaks, you know what I mean? And one of those plays. Mason, what do you think about Notre Dame's offense in this game? Do you believe they're going to be forced to, or on their own volition, are going to try and open it up a little more than what you saw against Georgia? Do you think that's on the menu, or like, what do you think Notre Dame's approach is going to be here?
I think you just leave it to Riley Leonard again. Just let him create, let him use his feet to just see what happens. Like, I'm sure Denbrock has something different scripted for the first 15 plays, or whatever that kind of cliche thing is. But for that first drive, I think he'll get Leonard comfortable with a couple short throws, maybe to Faison or Greathouse or Evans, and then from there you just let him play backyard football. That's what got you here. He's not a pocket passer. We all know that. And of course, you have your designed runs for Leonard that have been very successful, but he's best when he's out creating. And when you have to worry about him throwing and running, like, I can't imagine trying to cover that. So if some point during the game, if you can make Penn State and Tom Allen genuinely fearful that Leonard can pick up first downs through the air, whether that's, a 10 or 12-yard throw, it doesn't have to be bombs, but make them not just out on the edges trying to take him down. Like, they need to be able to play man coverage down the field too. So Denbrock's very aware of that. I'm just curious to see how he tweaks this game plan from Georgia, because I think Penn State is very similar in the way they play defense to Georgia. So I'm curious to see if there are any tweaks, if any at all.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And then what are your priorities defensively? Obviously, you always want to do a good job against the run. What do you think Al Golden's going to dial up to try and contain the Sasquatch?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he does when it comes to lining up with Tyler Warren. And the guy's a freak, so do you put somebody like Bowen on him, or somebody a little bit smaller like Osbury that can run with him, or do you throw Watts or Schuler on him? Like, it almost feels like there needs to be man coverage on Warren, regardless of if you're playing man or zone. Notre Dame plays a ton of man, so I don't know if you like double bracket him and make somebody else beat you. I mean, I'm not gonna act like I'm the biggest X's and O's guy in the world, but it just seems like you have to do whatever you can to not let him beat you. And if their second, third, fourth receiver ends up having a nice day, so be it.
Yeah, tip your cap. And the other thing is, what do you make of their run game? I mean, that's one thing you can't let them get rolling, because that's how they're going to want to control the ball game. What do you see with anything on their run game that Notre Dame can try and bottle up?
Yeah, they're not. Kaytron Allen's more explosive than Nick Singleton. I love Nick Singleton's game coming out of high school. Notre Dame finished second for his recruitment. That one sucks. I really wanted him in South Bend, but he's a Pennsylvania kid, so I ended up staying home. But he's going to be more of the ground and pound between the tackles. He's going to get you 5 or 7 a carry, it seems like, and it's frustrating that way. And then Kaytron Allen can be the one that's going to be the home run hitter. So in the same way that Price and Love are kind of thunder and lightning, duo that way. They have a duo as well, and they're damn good. So I think it's possible, even though all 4 running backs are banged up, that these are the best 2 running back rooms in the country. So I think we're going to see a lot of the run, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top just in that phase specifically.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. I want to zoom out off of this game for a little bit and ask a bigger picture question to you. How much do you think the Georgia win has changed things for the Notre Dame program, either perceptually, the way they're perceived, or practically, maybe in some recruiting type of way or national credibility way? Just how big do you think that moment was for this program in Freeman?
Yeah, I think people just needed to see them get one over the line. Like, they've come so close so many times. They have some big wins in the past for sure. There's some big wins in the Freeman era. But this one is leaps and bounds better than Clemson. It felt different, like in a game where you had to have it in the playoffs. It's not a regular season game. You're not at home. You're on a neutral site playing against what has been, the standard in college football for the last 4 or 5 years in Georgia, who's won 2 of the last 3 national championships. So even if they are having, quote unquote, a down year or whatever, the way that Notre Dame was able to physically handle them with, in large part, backup guys or guys that you didn't anticipate playing a huge role this year, just showed me that, I got into this debate with a couple people is, sure, Kelly had big wins, but what you're seeing with Freeman is a different kind of physicality, and Kelly wouldn't have won that game because he would have just turned over when you lose a Benjamin Morrison, when you lose a Riley Mills, Traore. You can go down the list, Botello, where there isn't that those backup guys that are able to play and they don't have the confidence to play. They aren't built up in a way that allows them, to play with confidence, and that's what Freeman's putting in them. So the development and the recruiting are just setting him apart, and it's finally showing the dividends. So I think Freeman's just getting started. Obviously, it's year 3, and year 3 is magical with Notre Dame. So I think, like I said, I think he's just getting started, but this is the very beginning of hopefully a long run of huge wins and things we haven't seen in my lifetime at all. And it feels good. It just feels completely different.
Yeah, I'm with you. One of the big takeaways for me from all of this is I do not feel like this is near what Freeman would envision being a fully functional, proper, healthy roster for what he wants this to look like. Like, that's encouraging to me, Mason, because I don't feel like this team is like a peak Marcus Freeman team and what it would look and feel like. And they're still accomplishing this. And there's a lot more meat on the bone to improve this roster and the depth and have a better health year. That's one of the big takeaways for me is this is nowhere near, though, a fully formed, self-actualized product. And they're still doing this. That's encouraging to me.
Right. Imagine if you did get some injury luck down the road and you still have some of your defensive starters. They're down like 4 or 5, maybe 6 guys at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Imagine you did have those guys. Everybody usually needs a little bit of injury luck, and Notre Dame's had the opposite. But I love his approach to the injuries as well, where he's not just, lamenting on it and being like, yeah, that's really tough. There's no way to replace that guy. It's, you hear it as a cliche a lot of the next man up mentality, but he truly believes that the guy behind whoever just got injured is fully capable of getting in there and doing a great job. And we've seen that in just about every position this year.
Yeah. And you know what, man? I want to give a lot of credit to all of those guys that moved into more prominent roles due to injury on this team. They're doing a great, great job. You want to talk about, we always talk about, like, is it just BS coach speak of like, take advantage of the chance you have when you get in and blah, 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 blah. All that stuff's like cliche. These guys are really doing it, man. All of those guys are playing good football, coming in these roles and having to take heavier snap loads. They're doing a really good job.
Yeah, and we're not seeing, like, with Kelly, you wouldn't get freshmen that are playing ever just because they're freshmen and he didn't think they were capable. And now some of Notre Dame's best players are freshmen, like Leonard Moore, Anthony Knapp. You're seeing these true freshmen come in and make a huge impact, and now those are guys that are going to be ballers for you for the next 2 years. It's just awesome. Yeah,
it really is, man. So I don't know, man. I am going to be wound tight. This is all seems like a whirlwind, Mason. Like in the games being in the middle of the week, just everything feels like it's just new and weird in a good way. Does that make sense? This whole thing is like a blur almost.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we keep winning. It sounds like there's going to be good transfer portal news right after hopefully a win over Penn State. So be on the lookout for that. I know things have been kept quiet, so all the attention has been kept on this CFP run, but hopefully the good news will continue to trend up in a good way with a win and then some great portal news as well.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. And it's just good to see Notre Dame. It's just good to see Notre Dame in these games that matter and garnering some respect. Anything on the way out, Mason? Thanks a lot for giving me a call.
Yeah, no problem. That's it. We got a couple things going up on Sports Illustrated today. I know John does as well. Stay locked to our content on there. We're putting up the best stuff every single day, and hopefully pull for an Irish win so we can keep on writing about this game. It's been fun.
Yeah, there you go, man. Hey, thanks a lot for the call, man. Really appreciate it. Try and not stress out too much the next 24 hours or so. Okay, buddy?
Right on, baby.
All right. Yep. I'll see you on the website. People who don't know, that is Mason Plummer. He is a fellow writer over at Notre Dame Fighting Irish, brought to you by Sports Illustrated. He does a really, really good job. And Mason's been around for a long time. He's one of the first people I started meeting up with in South Bend when I started getting the show going and was around town and all that stuff. And he's just a really, really good Notre Dame person. A really good Notre Dame person. Man, the chat's popping. You guys going at it with each other, or what's the deal? We'll bring up Andrew Gilmore. Swan Dong. That's I don't even want to know. I don't even want to ask how you came up with this name. I don't want to know. I don't want to think about it. I definitely don't want to Google's it. I don't want to know. But thanks for the $2 hour. Should we be worried about Al Golden of the Bengals? Man, I understand that when you're an NFL coach, it's like he said Dong is his last name. Okay, whatever. I don't want to get in trouble. Whatever, that's fine if that's your last name. Geez. Andrew, I'm coming to you. Man, I love this. I love this show. I'm just going to quit talking now and go back to the phones before I say something, get myself in trouble here. Andrew, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, John? How are you, buddy?
You know how I am. I am wound very tight for all the right reasons, Andrew. Like, this is what it's all about. This is why we do this. This is it. And I'm just glad we're talking about things that matter instead of me yelling about like a low-level bowl game. Like, it's just, I'm trying to enjoy it while I'm stressed at the same time, if that makes sense.
Definitely. Well, this game matters. And so I just wanted to officially get on the record because some of the people in the chat, rightfully so, have been giving me a lot of crap. But there's no doubt about it. I'm never going to call in to say that Marcus Freeman hasn't achieved what Brian Kelly's achieved. I mean, if you really think about it, 2 top 10 wins in a row. When's the last time Notre Dame's done something like that?
Yeah.
So, unbelievable job.
Andrew, I wanted to ask you, man, I just think about like some of our people in our chat and like the regulars that I know think about this stuff every day of the year, like our little core group. And what were you thinking when you saw a Notre Dame team be the team to make all the big plays and be physical and fast against that Georgia roster? Like, what was going through your mind, when you realized Notre Dame can hang and they're going to do this against Georgia? What were you thinking?
Well, to be quite frank with you, when even when we did the strip sack and then scored the touchdown going into halftime, I was like, still super on edge. When Harrison took the kickback, I was like, this can't be happening. This never happens for Notre Dame.
Yep.
So but I will say that I got a little tense after Georgia. Really, the next drive just took it downfield, and that that kind of like third down back for Georgia caught that wide open touchdown for them, and I'm like, oh, come on! And then Kaiser blows does the whatever call they called on Kaiser on that punt. I mean, it was totally unnecessary. So I was like, oh man, is Notre Dame going to figure out how to blow this? Because Georgia really, even though not being as dominant as they used to be, they were really awesome at coming back all season long.
Yeah,
they had major comebacks all year.
Dude, they were putting it
so
on the screen that they were down in like 8 or 9 games at some point and came back and won. And I'm just thinking, dude, you cannot add to that list. Don't let them. And to Notre Dame's credit, they didn't let them. Like, Andrew, it's just good to get a little bit of national credibility here and to be able to show. What did you think about Notre Dame's physicality and speed in that game? It looked like they belonged on the same field with the Georgia roster, and I think that surprised a lot of people around the country, to be honest.
Yeah, on a couple of message boards, I was going back and forth with some Notre Dame analysts about that was the first time I think I've ever seen Notre Dame play a team, or first time in a long time, I should say, Notre Dame playing a team like an SEC championship team, and be able to really out physical them, but tackle them. Like, how many times did Notre Dame play Clemson or Alabama, and our guys are way smaller than the guys with the ball, and instead of trying to form tackle somebody, we go for their legs, and then they do a highlight reel by jumping over one of our guys, and then we just look like total we don't belong on the field. I mean, that was not happening, and that got established the first drive. It got established when Schuler, who's not even one of our best tacklers, forced a fumble, and then one guy who just really the guy that I think of the game was junior Tuihalamaka. But one guy that just really stands out to me, and it's just shocking that he's a true freshman, is Leonard Moore. I mean, he's super physical for a true freshman corner. It's unbelievable. So, I haven't seen anything like this before. But I am a little concerned about Penn State. Not because I wrote in the chat, I think Georgia is a better team than Penn State. If it was Georgia-Penn State this week, I think Georgia would be favored more than what Notre Dame is favored. So we beat a better team. My concerns of the game are the quick turnaround. With the New Orleans terrorist attack, we lost a full day. I'm glad they were able to negotiate to move the time up a little bit, so at least they could get back to South Bend that night. I do think that tight end that Penn State has, he poses a different threat. And that's my question to you in the chat, is that have you guys really recognized how good this guy is? I think he's probably halfway between how good Michael Mayer was and how good Bo Bowers was for Georgia. So this guy is no joke. So his size presents a real challenge to us. And so I wonder what Golden will cook up to cover him.
Yeah, it's a top priority, man. It's a top. I mean, obviously stopping the run game is an every down kind of general priority that applies. We all know that. But Uncle Al, dude, Al Golden is really good at this. He needs to dial something up, and these guys got to execute it, man. And maybe it's a thing, Andrew, where you're not going to shut it down, but you just got to try and limit it enough. You know what I mean? Because I want to acknowledge how good he is. I wrote an article. I looked up his stats, and he's just such a freak athlete. That's why I call him the Sasquatch. It's something from out of this world. And I want to credit him. But Al Golden, this is your moment. This is it, buddy. Dial something up. Bracket. I don't know what you need to do. Dial something up.
Yeah, it's interesting what they'll decide to do. I remember 2 years ago against Ohio State when we played, or is it 3 years ago now? It was Marcus Freeman's first regular season game when we played at Ohio State. I remember Ohio State chipped the hell out of Michael Mayer all game.
Mm-hmm.
Just did not let him get a clean release off the line. I don't know if that would work, but I just think that for how physical our defense is, I imagine that's got to be the expectation, just because he gets loose downfield. He is a legit downfield threat, and I worry about that because he's 6'6", and the guys covering him aren't 6'6".
Yeah, so pressure,
deceptively athletic.
Pressure, Andrew. That quarterback is not very mobile to me, and I have the belief that if you could get to him and frustrate him, it would really pay dividends. So that's a part of it too. It isn't just the downfield coverage or whatever you could do on that tight end. It's about not letting things be comfortable enough for this guy to just drop back there and have a few seconds to let that guy get over the middle or down the seam or whatever it is. It is, man, I'm just telling you, Andrew, I just love being in these moments. This is what we've wanted. And Freeman needed this. The program needed this. The fan base needed this. Like this is that year 3 thing where you prove either you're going to turn a corner or not. And I'm just happy that it looks like Freeman and this team is figuring it out.
Awesome. Yeah, and then I just have 2 quick points, and I'll let you get to your other callers. I think my last point in terms of the keys of the game or worries to the game are, can Notre Dame find enough explosive offense to win this game?
Yeah, I think that's a fair question.
I think
that's a very, very fair question. That's where I came up with Faison. He just seems to have that it thing. Let him have a chance to do something. I'm with you that I've thought about this. So what's the solution for Notre Dame?
Yeah, I think it's tough because I got into it with Driscoll on one of his chats where he was really saying that there's no difference between Jeremiah Love now than when before Indiana. But I don't know how you could say that watching some of the practice stuff. He's really limited right now. So I don't know. I think I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I got all the solutions. Obviously, I think Faison is stepping up in a good way, but I think this comes down to you paid Denbrock all this money. You made him the number 1 paid coordinator, at least for a few weeks until someone else got signed. But he was like the number 1 paid coordinator in the country. This is where you got to rely on him to dial something up to get really creative because Jeremiah Love is by far their most explosive player. I think he'll play, but I seriously doubt he'll give us the same snaps and or explosiveness that he's given us, all season long. So it's really going to come down to how creative Denbrock is. We paid him, we made him a really rich guy to come in here and do this. So this is his game to shine. And then whereas Golden's game to shine was against Georgia. And then the second thing, to help out the offense, if we're not getting explosive plays, if you look at Drew Aller, I think Drew Aller is actually a really good quarterback. If you look at his stats, he threw like 25 touchdowns. He had 7 interceptions, but in those 7 interceptions, they were pretty much all in the big games that Penn State has played. He threw 3 against USC. He threw 2 against Oregon, 1 against Ohio State. So I think that's the key to the game is if our offense, and I think it's going to be a rough fight. I don't agree that a lot of people in the chat are saying, Notre Dame 34, 31. I think it's going to be kind of a similar score to A&M and Georgia. I think it will be the winner of the game is going to be in the mid-20s. And if we aren't getting explosive plays, it's going to be really incumbent on the defense to turn Aller over. Because it's really tough to force a fumble from one of these running backs. But Aller's shown against some of the tougher games that he'll force something and potentially get picked off. So,
man, these are exciting times, and we're going to see if Notre Dame could keep it rolling. And then if you make it to the title game, then it's just one shot for everything, and a game is played on a field and not a recruiting database or a transfer log for a reason, and you do the best you can. So, Andrew, this is exciting stuff. I'm just happy for all of us. Notre Dame is gaining some respect and is playing in these games that matter. And thank you for always being a part of the community year round, even in the summer. Really appreciate you. Thanks, man.
Yeah, just real quick, and I'll let you get to your next callers. On Golden being approached by the Bengals, who knows how real that is? My thought is this: if I was Devakwa and Freeman, I would sit down with them and say, what's your goal? Is your goal to actually become a head coach again? Because I got to think that there's some unfinished business there with Golden, with how he went out at Miami. And he had such a promising head coaching career before he sort of got hoodwinked into taking that Miami job. He had no idea that they were going to get hit with the violations they got hit with. And then if that's his goal to be a head coach again, it just seems to me that being in college right now with guys like Bill Belichick getting hired, with Lance Leipold, Kurt Signetti, even Willie Fritz at Houston, who really toiled in 1AA ball for years and years and years and didn't get a D1 job until he was in his mid to late 50s.
Yeah.
The NFL is the exact opposite. When Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick can barely get interviews despite being Super Bowl championship coaches, there's ageism going on in the NFL. So if your goal is to ever be a major head football coach again, stay in college. Give one more. If he puts in another Broyles award-winning type type season, he will get at least a lower level Big Ten job or an upper echelon ACC or Big 12 job. So that would be my advice to him. Be like, yeah, I know, like your schedule might be better being with the Bengals. You probably make less money, but you'll never be a head coach in the NFL.
Yeah,
and even if you were younger, everything's trending toward offensive-minded head coaches anyway. So, so if you want to be a head coach, we'll make it happen for you.
My thought is I'm not worrying about any of this stuff till we're done playing, and then I'll worry about all of the other stuff and the transfer portal and all the other stuff, man. But for now, I'm just going to be wound tight and watch Notre Dame and Penn State. Andrew, thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Dude, you guys, I don't have it in me to worry about all this stuff. We're about to play the biggest game Notre Dame's played in like 30 years, and I get 15 text messages asking me about Al Golden, what Al Golden's going to do when the season's over. Bro, can I worry about one stressful thing at a stupid time? Son of a buck. Can I worry about one thing at a time? I don't have the biggest brain. I can't handle all this stress at the same time. Let me worry about one thing at a time. And then let me blow my nose, and I'll be right back, and we'll take some more calls. I still got apparently this Penn State guy on the line, so I'll try and bring him up and see what we got. I'll bring him up and see what we got. I just kicked over my light. I'm losing it. All right. We are back. We are back. All right. Let's see. Let's see if we get a Penn State guy. 860. Are you the Penn State guy?
What's going on? What's going on? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So are you indeed the Penn State fan that was going to call in? I just see the number. I want to make sure I'm talking to the right guy.
It is me. Shout out to Mr. Patrick. We're calling live from New York City right now. I enjoyed the show. You're very entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
But I was just scratching my head at some of the score predictions in the chat. But I wanted to talk actual football reasons with you.
Okay.
About the matchup. So, the one thing that I feel like not a lot of people are talking about is the chess match between Al and Kodanicky. Because if you ask me, I think Kodanicky has the respect of both fan bases enough to say, okay, Notre Dame is primarily cover one, right? And Golden is going to have to make a decision. Is he going to let Watts, who's an outstanding player in the open field, roam free and be natural and be a point guard back there for you guys? Or is he going to shade Watts with Warren the whole time and kind of leave other areas open? Now, a Notre Dame fan will probably be like, hey, Penn State are not a threat down the field, but they're like sixth, I believe, in like explosive play rate for the passes. They're like sixth in the country. So they do get the ball down the field in the posts and the seams.
Yeah.
So it's like decisions are going to have to be made throughout the game. I know a lot of people give Franklin like a hard time and can coaching adjustments, whatever have you, right? But
yeah.
I think he's hired good coaches.
Yeah.
And he lets them do their job.
Can I ask you this?
To be honest,
I want to ask you a genuine question. I'm not trolling in any way. I don't have a lot of interactions with Penn State people. I'm genuinely wondering, what is your trust and belief level in James Franklin? Like, have the two playoff wins garnered enough like full trust from that fan base, or is there still a little bit of doubt? Like, okay, it was SMU at home and it was Boise. I almost look at it as like I'm asking, is this the kind of measuring stick that Freeman had last week against Georgia? Is it being looked at that way from your guys' side, or like what's the belief level in James Franklin in these big games?
So it's interesting. I think that
he took care of business, and I feel like the fan base knew those first two games were like very business-like situations that he had to take care of.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'll put it to you this way: at the end of the day, for the people in that building, they're huge games. Because if you don't win those, you don't get to tomorrow, right?
Yep.
So in their eyes, they were big games. In the fans' eyes, this one is the one, right?
Yeah, and I feel that, man. I feel that because of some of the pressure on Franklin and some of the big game top ranked matchup like results. Like I feel that because Notre Dame's had that, Brian Kelly had that, Marcus Freeman had to battle that. So I can relate to that kind of feeling with that man.
I will say this though. I feel like the narrative, the big game narrative for both these schools is a little different. From a Notre Dame perspective, you guys were losing to like a bigger sample size of programs in these big games, right? Like all types of programs. Penn State loses to 2 programs.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You know what I mean? Like,
dude, that is, dude, I love that.
Ohio State, it's almost like,
bro.
I thought the Oregon game validated a lot of feelings for Penn State fans that this may be a 2-team problem.
Yeah.
Because like they can play, they don't have the mental block playing against anybody not in scarlet and gray and maize.
I get that, man. I get that. And you know what frustrates me about it? You know, I'm a Notre Dame guy and I always am going to hate Michigan. It's not USC, but I'm always going to hate Michigan and Ohio State. Everybody loves to hate on. But it was frustrating because every time you would tune in and be like, can Penn State knock off one of these teams and really mix things up in the Big Ten? It just never happened. And then it's just kind of frustrating to watch. And I do get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying now. It's like a Big Ten thing. And if you zoom out of that, maybe there's some freedom in that.
It was happening. It was happening. Then, you know, Jim Harbaugh got his wig knocked off a few times that night in Happy Valley, and they got with Fox and said, we don't want to do this anymore, right? You know, you got Saquon Barkley scoring 18 touchdowns in the first half at night in a whiteout. They didn't like that too much. So we haven't played Michigan or Ohio State since Fox took over at night. So
how do you look at Notre Dame, man? Let me flip it. How do you view Notre Dame? I'm genuinely interested from the outside. I'm so close to this. Every day it's my life I think about. Like how is your side viewing Freeman and Notre Dame and this roster? I'm genuinely interested.
So I come from a coaching family, come from a football family. So, you know, once Freeman got the job, my respect level went up immediately because I knew he could get young guys to play for him. I never thought Brian Kelly had the bandwidth or like the emotional bandwidth to like get young kids to really play for him.
That's how we feel. That's how we felt too. Oh, you're right. You're hitting the right vein there because that's how we felt.
So you saw the change. It used to be, you know, a couple years ago, like Notre Dame would get hit in the mouth in a big game and kind of fold, right? I don't see that anymore. I don't expect that anymore. From like an actual like on the field perspective of Notre Dame, I think they are one of the most physical teams left in the tournament. I think that injuries, right? Everybody's battling attrition right now, but I think that injuries kind of warped how much better they could have been.
Yeah,
I guess that's the reality that they're in right now. As far as how they play, they remind me. I'm not that old, but I'm old enough to remember the better Stanford teams back in the day, with a lot more kind of like twitch and athleticism on defense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get.
I'll tell you this though, to be totally honest, like this is about to be a Big Ten game, stylistically.
Yeah,
and I don't like, me personally. I've watched a lot of Notre Dame football. I don't like the way Notre Dame's offense. I don't like the way they look over long stretches, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It
Well,
looks clunky at times.
you're not gonna have me arguing. You're not gonna get much pushback from me on that. Like you're not wrong. I ain't gonna push back on you.
Like as we get more into it, I'm like, man, are we about to see like a more like classic style? And I'm not calling you guys Iowa at all, but just the way, like when Iowa has a really good football team, when Michigan has a good football team that matches up well with Penn State, those WWF Royal Rumble type games where guys are just going to get thrown out the ring or they're not going to get thrown out the ring over 4 quarters. And I don't see, with the injuries Notre Dame has, I don't know if they're going to be able to hang like offensively and put things together, and like, because and you guys can call it a fan, a homer's perspective. I just don't believe that the defensive line of Notre Dame can play up again for 4 more quarters.
Man, it's a big question. It's a big question I have is Notre Dame's down what 3, 4, 5 guys along the defensive front, and it's like, and I've been asking.
That's why I was bugging out in the chat when people were like 30 to 14. I'm like, oh,
but
they got a lot of people out.
Here's what I'm saying though. They're down a lot of those key guys, and they're doing the next man up thing most of the year, and it really hasn't resulted in a drop off in production. And then you start being like, are we just not playing good teams, or are they really that developing that good? Like, but it's one of my questions I have too is, man, is it finally going to catch up to Notre Dame where as much as they want to in their hearts, physically, they just kind of run out of gas? Like that is one way if you ask me, like, how could this go wrong for Notre Dame? One of them would be like, Notre Dame just can't get up the way they did for Indiana and Georgia. It's one too many weeks with a beat up defensive line or whatever, and you just can't keep that intensity up. That's a concern I have, and I don't want it to happen, but it is a concern. So how do you see this thing going, man? Anything else you want to cover on the way out? Thanks for calling.
No, of course. I appreciate you having me on, man. It's all love all the time. Just happy to be seeing football. The Northern teams are representing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
As far as this game is concerned, after all the talk we've had, after all the callers today, it's going to come down to what it's always come down since people have been in Pop Warner. It's how are you firing off the ball?
Yep.
And how are you tackling?
Yep.
And then,
turnovers.
Third. Yeah, turnovers, of course. I really don't think, I could be wrong. I think it's going to be a pretty clean game in that regard, because I think both teams' coaches are obsessed with the turnover battle, and Marcus Freeman and James Franklin, whatever you want to say about him, he is obsessed with the middle 8. He's obsessed with it, and anybody that bets on college football will tell you that Notre Dame is great at it.
Yeah,
because you look up, and there's 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left in the second quarter, and by the time you go to the bathroom, get your chili, Notre Dame's up 14 somehow. You know what I'm saying? But They made a play. Halftime comes on, and they make a play out the gate. Penn State is the same way. Both of these coaches obsess over the middle 8. So I'll be looking at the middle 8 very keenly. And then the quarterbacks. This is a quarterback game. Who doesn't mess up? Who makes the ordinary throws? Who makes a couple plays with their arm?
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't see Riley Leonard making a lot of plays with his legs. He's gonna have to throw the pill. He's gonna have to throw the route.
Yeah, it's this is going to be interesting, man.
I don't think Penn State will allow it.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling, being civil about it, and having a good conversation. I really appreciate it. It's healthy, man. You're going to take crap from the chat, but that's the way it goes. I mean, you're in a Notre Dame show, listen, but I like mixing it up and bringing. I need some different opinions in here and some people that aren't Notre Dame people. It's healthy.
On the way out, I just want to say one thing. Give Curtis Enos his suit back.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man, I really appreciate you. Thanks a lot. And listen, I'm proud of the fact that some northern cold weather teams are doing the thing too. So at least we can agree on that, my friend.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ball game.
For sure.
Have a good one,
Take
buddy.
care. It's going to be a close game.
Yep.
Sweater weather, close game, y'all.
There you go. Take care, buddy. I didn't think that was bad. I know everybody doesn't like it, but like from my perspective, I think it's healthy to get a different mix. I'm sorry. Geez. $20 from Ryan. Let's see Spanklin and his boys packing tomorrow. This is rarefied air we're living right now. Let's enjoy it. It is, man, this is, it's just special stuff. It is a joy to be talking about Notre Dame when it's like this. You know what we need after we have that call? Here's what I think we need. A little dose of 559 up on the line. What up, baby?
Man, John, I had so much energy a little while ago, and this guy put me to sleep. I was betting about having a meeting at 9:30. Bro, but I understand what you're talking about. We need a different perspective. It's all good, Penn State guy. I see where you're coming from, but check this out. Remember that, do you remember when, I don't know if it was against Marshall or Stanford, and we got humiliated, and then you saw all the freshmen that Marcus Freeman had, and they all stood next to him. I told someone in the chat the other day, or on the space the other day, I want that picture. Because that was a moment where I knew that he had kids that loved Marcus Freeman. That's the moment that I knew that we had a coach that understood what embarrassment was. Then the NIU happened. And then it came to come to Jesus moment. When that come to Jesus moment came, I'm pretty sure he looked at everybody in the eye. And he let everybody know what time this is. This is our go time now. This ain't about, I want 8 quarters. 8 quarters of FU football. 8, not 4, 8. You got to take 1 quarter at a time, a minute at a time, a second at a time, a first down at a time. I don't care about 150. I don't care about 250 yards passing. I don't care about 357. I just want writing letters, move those chains. Important moments, important times, important enthusiasm. I want to run the ball if we have to. If we have to throw, then we throw. Until then, just move the freaking chain, okay? And another thing is, Al Golden, this is your moment. This is your moment where you shove it up your Penn State alma mater and let them know, thank you for not hiring me, and I'm going to make you regret it for the rest of your life. Because why? You're going to let these dogs loose. You let them go. Just with the moment where you let them know and you let them hit them every angle, every moment, every second, you let that quarterback know, you know what? This is Notre Dame football. This is our FU football. Every day, every moment, every time. All you know, let's just be happy for the end of the day that we have a coach that understands us and loves us back. Marcus Freeman is giving something that I tell my son and I tell everybody that knows me. I used to wake up at 4 in the morning over the summer to help my family out. I used to wake up and know what grits was. I understood what hard work is. Marcus Freeman has that. I used to wake up in the rain. I used to wake up in the summers. I used to wake up in the winters. I used to wake up and work my ass off when it was 115 degrees, when it was 20 degrees, at every single degree. And for this moment, I want Notre Dame to think about every single Notre Dame fan that has suffered for the last 32 years of embarrassment and humiliation. I don't care about those. The was last week. Right now it's Penn State. And guess what? And then after that, that's why I told you, I want 8 quarters of FU football. And don't give up. Stand up. I can't be what I want to be because I'm at work. But you know what? This is our go time. El Golden, this is your moment. Dan Brock, you know what you got paid for. I don't care about the rest, right? Just handle your business, Notre Dame. Handle your business.
Yeah, this is man, this is that moment. And you've been on board all year, and you always believed, you always called in and said to keep the faith. We got this. We're going to keep winning. And I got to admit, you were right, man. You were right.
Here's the thing, John. We have something so special. We got to enjoy the moment. And you know one thing that I love of every single caller, especially the older crowd that you have, especially them, man, y'all deserve this moment. Let's enjoy it. Let's embrace it. I'm not worried about Al Golden's future. I'm worried about tomorrow. Yeah. I'm worried about this second. Are we living that moment? Because these moments don't come often. And you know, goddamn it, I hate when people try to get on certain chat. Oh, my source thing, my source. You know, I don't care about this one. I care about today. Where's Notre Dame at today? Where are we at today? Where is your mind at today? We have a football game to think about, and we have an opponent to worry about. You worry about him first, and we worry about the rest later. Everybody else will worry about that later. The transfer portal, the recruits are going to come. They're going to see what Marcus Freeman is building. They're going to see what we're about. They're going to see how special Notre Dame is. Understand the university and for what it means and for what it stands.
Yeah, man. I'm just glad we're all in this moment together, man. Anything else you got? Thanks for calling me at work. I appreciate the effort.
No problem, boss. No problem. Anything, man. Hey, guys, it feels good to be a Notre Dame fan right now. It feels so good to be a Notre Dame fan. But it ain't over yet, my boys.
Yep.
It's not over yet. On my mama, we're going to play some real football tomorrow. On my mama, I want Notre Dame to show up and shout out. On my mama, we're going to wear that gold chain. I don't care how early I got to leave. I got PTO. I'm using that tomorrow just to be just be ready. I'm on television. And if everything works out well, you probably see me at Atlanta.
Oh, baby. All right, man. Hey,
Go, Irish.
have a good
Let's
day.
go.
Have a good day, man. Thanks as always for the energy. God, I love that. That guy loves Notre Dame so much, and I love him for it. I truly do. God, it's a beautiful thing. 386, what's going on? Welcome to the show. .386, you were in the mix. Yeah, I know. Ronald, I was thinking
Hey, Johnny.
Ronald, I was thinking that too. That was a little low profile for 559. I wonder if he was around work people and couldn't let it rip or something. He was a little calm. I'm worried about him. That was a calm one. What's up, man? Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, dude. Final Four. We're here.
Yeah.
Are we in this moment?
Yeah, I know. It has been all kind of a blur. And with these games in the middle of the week and stuff, everything just seems like a simulation. And I'm almost like, dude, are we really? Yeah, we're doing this. Like, it's all feels so weird, this journey. And everyone we know, our whole lives revolve around when the next Notre Dame game is. It is the most beautiful thing, isn't it?
It's awesome. And look at how late, early into the year we're playing. We played against A&M on August 31st. Like, how long ago does that seem? It just is so cool to be playing in this moment and to be playing this late into the year. It's just awesome.
Yeah, man, this is just what it's all about. And this is what I always dream this show being about, is us all gathering together to cover something with Notre Dame that matters, and not just us being mad and wallowing in our misery together. Like, this is what it's all about. And it's time. Keep riding this, man. Keep riding this momentum, man. This team just refuses to quit. Do it one more time. Why would I pick against them now?
And at this point, I tell my brother Connor all the time, I'm like, dude, you just have blind Irish faith. Like, no matter what happens to us, he just thinks that we're going to win no matter what.
Yeah.
And I can respect that in some moments like this. At this point in time, why not just have that blind Irish faith in terms of, we are going to go out and beat Penn State by 2 touchdowns? Why would we tell this team that they can't? They've literally done everything against the world this year.
Yeah.
And just kept proving themselves time and time again. Why can they not do it this time? And then, like you said, get into the title game where anything can happen.
Yeah,
you just
man.
got to be better on that one night.
That's the thing that I've been thinking about, is anything can happen in one game, man. Anybody can have a bad game. Anything can. You just need to get to that moment, roll the dice out, let all of the stress be on their side, and you let them hang and see where it lies. Like, if Notre Dame gets into that moment, I feel good, because all of that pressure is going to be on Ryan Day and Penn, probably Ohio State, and whatever. But I don't want to worry about that yet. What do you think about this matchup tomorrow? What are you thinking about? What are your priorities? You worried about that tight end? Like, what are you thinking about?
I think the tight end could cause a slight issue, but if you look at our linebackers and our secondary, we have guys everywhere that can blanket and cover him. That's not really my concern. Love being a little banged up is slightly concerning, but Jadarian's been waiting all season to be running back 1. If Love can't really give it a go, Jadarian is going to be right there ready to rip. So, I don't know, man. I kind of see this game playing out very similar to kind of what Andrew said, Georgia or A&M. That's how I kind of see it playing out.
Yeah, it is. Oh, man. You want to think, if you're able to be that physical and fast against a Georgia roster, you should be able to do it against Penn State too. But then I remind myself of what we just said. Anything can happen in one game, man. It's just, What if Notre Dame's a team that makes the mistakes this time? Like, anything can happen. It's just these moments are so crucial. Every single down matters. It's life and death. And it's just such a beautiful thing to be a part of.
It's awesome to be a part of it. Down to down, you're just on the edge of your seat, pacing around. I mean, we didn't sit down the entire Georgia game. It was crazy. It was like we were in the stadium. Connor's going to the game. He's going to meet up with Andrew, and he's going to go to the Always Irish tailgate tomorrow. So they're going to drive down there, and they're going to go. So it's going to be good. I don't know. What you've been saying all week, you've been pretty spot on about it. Either we're going to keep this train rolling, and the momentum's just going to keep us going to the title, or some of the injuries and some of the stuff's going to catch up to us to where, maybe we are the team that makes the mistakes. We'll just have to find out.
Yeah, man. Dude, that is one of my number one questions is, I don't question this team's heart. I don't question their mentality. I don't question the motivation. They want to play for each other. They want to play for Freeman. I don't question the staff at this point. I just wonder, does Notre Dame run up against a physical wall where all of the attrition is just too much to maintain that intensity? And it just finally, you can't keep it up on a human physiological level. That's a concern to me. And I want to think Notre Dame, the adrenaline of all this will power Notre Dame through that moment. And then you'll have a 10-day layoff till the title game. I want to believe that. But I'm being honest that is one of my chief concerns about tomorrow. I'm just being honest about it.
It's fair. It's a long run that we've been on, just like every other team. And that's why my vote of confidence is still there. Every team's a little banged up. Nobody's 100% healthy. It's a long season. The guys have been playing a lot of back-to-back weeks. So, I don't know. Andrew in the chat, he asked, caller, is Aller the best quarterback we've played? I don't know, but I'm not scared of him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's impressive at all. And you and Goolsby have been on it all week. You start rattling him,
Yep.
You sack him or pick him off, he's going to start crying, and his attitude goes down the drain.
That's
so
the next thing out of my mouth.
Really get to him.
It was the next thing out of my mouth is, if he's comfortable and you let him make some plays, he gets hot, and then he has that little cockiness to him and he rides it. If you can rattle him and frustrate him, it is, man, I mean, that is your path. And so I don't know, man, but this is an important moment. I'm just glad that my brother's going to be there. I'm glad your people are going to be there. We have a little contingent down there. I'm happy for people that are going to be able to get together. Anything else, my friend?
I don't think so, man. I think the Irish fans will show out. Everybody wants to escape and head to a little warmer weather. It is a little chilly here in Florida, but it'll be nice and warm down in Miami. But no, nothing else. Looking forward to calling in after the game and talking about a title that we're going to play for on the 20th.
I sure hope
as
so.
Always, John.
These are magical times, my friend. Thank you very much for all the ongoing support. Have a good one. Mark said Ice Spice was his favorite, and I said I thought it was Lizzo. Anything by Afro Man. I overslept for Johnny's show because I got high. Ooh. I spent my full check at Ronald McDonald's because I got high. I needed this so much, man. You guys have no idea how much I need it. Dude, that is a good beat. Colt 45 and 2 zigzags. That's a good beat. Oh, man. Oh, God, that's so funny. I don't understand any of this. I don't understand any of the, the women rappers. I cannot understand or appreciate any of it. Whether it's Lice, Spice, Lizzo, Cardi, whatever. I don't understand these girl rappers that are acting like they're tough. I just can't handle it. It's not good music. I don't respect it. It's just not good. It ain't good. What is a Glorilla? Is that an animal? I don't know what that means. I don't know who that is. If we get much past like Ashanti and Missy Elliott and like Faith Evans, you're losing me. That's about like where it ended for me with that. I can't do it. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's not for me. It's not for me. That's for sure. 215, what's going on?
Hey, John, what's going on?
Man, I'm telling you, I am wound tight for this one, and I am ready for Notre Dame to go and do something special.
Yeah, me too. I got a couple football points, and then I want to bring you kind of the sense of what the Penn State fans are like, because I called you before the Indiana game, and I mentioned I was right outside Philadelphia and all that. So just one of the two, there's two things that I just really want to point out for this game. Number one, Leonard. If he runs the ball, if we can get his legs going, I think look at what he did against Georgia. Look at what he did in those few runs against Indiana. I think that separates, that kind of like escalates our offense, obviously. Look at what he did against Georgia. Once he started running the football, we kind of got going, and then, we really started to that game kind of started to take form for us. And then number two is coaching. Obviously, James Franklin, we've seen it. But you saw the masterclass that Freeman put on against Georgia with that, that punt on that 4th and 1, and then you throw the offense out, you make Georgia jump. That basically showed, that was just one instance of how Freeman outcoached Kirby Smart. So yeah, that's just what I think. Those two things is what the game comes down to. Now, I don't know if you've seen, but Abdul Carter, they just had the press conference with the Orange Bowl where Freeman and James Franklin kind of, did their whole, the two, both coaches, ask questions, they meet each other, whatnot.
Yeah.
James Franklin made it sound like that Abdul Carter is really not 100%, but it's kind of the same thing as Love, as we previously stated. So yeah, that's something to really kind of monitor. So yeah, that's, and then before I get to my, kind of like what I'm kind of taking the temperature of a lot of Penn State fans, because I live amongst them. They are the definition of a cult, an absolute cult.
Well, we knew that from, I don't want to make it about this, but we learned that the hard, unfortunate way with the issues they had, a lot back in 2012. We learned, I don't want to turn it into that on YouTube, obviously, but we learned that it's clearly a cult where protecting the leader and that trumped everything. Yeah. So we know that.
Yeah. I'm trying to stay away from that, but it's just, I'm just based on my perspective, because, this is, where I'm from. So it's just, they are just talking so much, and they just want, I want nothing more than just to shut them up, this week, because this is, it's, I was at Xfinity Live, which is a bar right outside of Lincoln Financial Field on Sunday after the Eagles game. And they put on their little Zombie Nation and, the whole, all that. And it was just, and then I just basically, the jackass that I am, I, kind of, ran my mouth a little bit, but nothing too bad. Nothing crazy where I got kicked out of the bar.
Dude, I just don't know. Listen, man, I just don't know that I fully believe that James Franklin is that dude. And if he dunks on Notre Dame and throws it in my face, I will give him credit, because I will have to. But I am just not sold that dude is a real dude. I just, there's something about him I can't quite buy into. And if he beats us, then God bless him. I'll give him credit on the post-game show in my misery. I will. But as we sit today, I'm not sure I buy it.
Absolutely. I just, this is just for me personally, and I think for all of us, this is just one game we can't lose. And, I just have a heart for me and many of the other Notre Dame fans that live in the state of Pennsylvania. We cannot lose to this team. We cannot lose to this team. We cannot give Franklin his first big win against us at our expense. And to be honest with you, John, for me personally, now this was an amazing season. This was one of those years where it's like, we got over that hump winning that big game. I don't want to remember this as the year that we gave James Franklin his big win. I know that sounds outlandish, and I know the rest of the fan base doesn't think that way. But for us here in Pennsylvania that bleed blue and gold and watch every week and, occasionally go to games, we cannot, I just can't live with that. So, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of my sense on it. This is a big game. This is the biggest game for all of us. For all of us, this is the biggest game of our lives. I mean, especially with the recent narratives and the recent history of what we've done, in our misfortunes, and especially in that stadium.
Yep.
And think about it, too. And here's another angle. And I know I'm kind of going off a little bit, but imagine if we win this game, how full circle it will come. Because we played in the national championship in that building against Alabama. We all know what happened. And then let's say we go and play Ohio State. And then after what happened last year, this is a lot of full circle moments that are potentially going to happen. So that's just another point that I kind of wanted to bring up. But, thank you so much for taking my call. I know, it went off the rails again, but,
Hey, man, these are special times, and I'm with you, man. This is a big one, and you changed a lot of narratives last week. This game is another chance to change another one. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Have a good one.
Go Irish.
I have no idea what you guys talk about with joy. I have no idea what you guys are talking about whatsoever. So I admit I have been very narrowly selecting the media, that I've been consumed. I have no idea what you're talking about at all. $10 holler from the WPP. Haven't watched the Boise game where PSU offensive coordinator continued to call pass plays when Boise could not stop the run. It's clear the Penn State OC has a very low IQ. That's his favorite go-to. Indy wins 31-10. If you win 31-10, that's going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. WPP, I'm wondering if you have seen enough from Marcus Freeman that you want to see him succeed now, or are you still against him and old against him? What happened earlier in the year when you were mad at him, or has he earned back some respect in your mind for what he's done with this run? I'm just asking. I'm not trying to start anything or troll. I'm genuinely asking if any of this has changed as Notre Dame has continued to win these games. Genuinely interested. Bruce, what's going on?
John, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
Oh, man. You know how I'm doing. I'm wound tight, Bruce.
Yeah, I see that. So, first I want to say, you shouldn't be wound so tight for this one. Like, obviously, it's a huge game, but Georgia was the one you need to be wound tight for. That's out of the way. Now, everything else, we can just go and we can play freely. So, relax a little bit.
Yeah, dude, I get that. I get that. But, like, it's like you want this one, but you feel like the program needed the last one. Does that make sense? But you also kind of need this one. Like, I kind of get, Bruce, I kind of get the concept of, like, you really want this one, but you needed the last one for this national credibility that only beating Georgia could provide you. But then I'm saying, you're in this and you're this far. Why stop now? I'm not going to be satisfied. Like, go win this one too.
Well, of course. I'm just saying you don't need to worry as much because that game was more difficult to navigate in the South, in the deep South, down there in SEC territory. Hold on one second. Benjamin Hope. All right, thank you.
Or email for.
Will do.
With that water.
All right, I got you. Thanks. Yeah, sorry, they had some flooding and sewage at my son's school. I had to pick them up. But yeah, so So that was the first thing I wanted to say. Second of all, I thought it was interesting. Last head coach to win a national championship for us, of course, was Lou Holtz in '88. He turned 88 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Right around the time that we have an opportunity to make something special happen. So I thought that was an interesting little bit there. So,
Bruce, you know what else? Too?
Yeah.
You know what else too? You just triggered something in me. You brought up that it's like Lou Holtz's birthday, and that is the last guy that's got us over the hump. And then did you also see the news that Tommy Zibikowski got a high school head job in the Chicago area? Man, Bruce, it just feels like a lot of Notre Dame stuff starting to come together, man. It's just hard for me not to feel that it's just like kind of coming together for the Notre Dame community in some way.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, John, honestly, I am a lot less worried about this game than I was the last one, honestly.
Now, is that your anti-SEC bias showing, Bruce? Be honest. How much of it, like, have the self-awareness? Yeah, the self-awareness to know that you have an extra bone to pick with them. I figured you might have it at this, but at least you're honest enough to appreciate and recognize it in yourself.
Right. Yeah, I'm a lot more, relaxed now, and that's out the way. But I also wanted to say, I found it interesting. I was listening in I don't know if it was at the beginning or whatnot. And so anyway, I've been hearing some people really having beef with the Penn State fans. And I'm funny because for the most part, unless they are SEC or a direct rival of Notre Dame, like USC or something, I respect like traditionalism and blue bloods and all that. So I personally don't have too much issue with Penn State. But anyway, the point is, I've been hearing, you got people in the chat who really don't like Penn State very strongly. Of course, you with Michigan, me with the entire SEC. It's so interesting that as Notre Dame fans and being independent, like we all have our pet peeves and people we despise. I just thought that was pretty neat to notice.
Yeah. It's man, Bruce, I was thinking about you because I know how somebody just put my wife would leave me for Bruce. Everybody likes your voice, Barry. You're doing a good job. They said, hide your wife. And then the people are saying they're going to risk it all for that. Just to hear your voice, man. It lowers my stress. Just hearing you speak lowers my stress. Man, Bruce, I knew how much that Georgia one meant to you. And now that we're over it, it's like, let's get greedy, man. You got this run. Nothing's guaranteed, nothing is guaranteed in future years. As excited I am about the future and all that, nothing is guaranteed. You got a chance now. It doesn't have to be next year. And maybe if we get better recruits, maybe if we did, maybe next year. It's like the Cubs for 100 years. Maybe next year. You don't need next year. Do it this year. I don't need next year. Do it now.
Yeah, we're doing it now. We're doing it live. No, but I agree with you, John. And it's funny because even though we got that monkey off our back beating a big boy from down south, it's still not going to mean as much if we can't finish it off because we're still going to hear you guys don't ever win anything. So we've got to win something to truly shut them up. And of course, they're still going to talk their nonsense, but we have to win something. So I get it. And I've been the one saying it's one game at a time. But like I said, I feel so much more relaxed. But in terms of the Penn State matchup, now here's the deal. This Warren, I think the free tight end, the Mackey Award winner. He's really good, but is he really that far ahead of a healthy Mitchell Evans? In all seriousness, and I ask that because we practice against Mitchell Evans every week, every day. So when Mitchell Evans is at his best, is he really that far behind this guy Warren? I don't think so. I saw Mitchell Evans play live at the Gator Bowl. I was standing down there by that end zone when he caught the winning touchdown. I get it. He's really good. And so I say that to say that when he's healthy, I think he's as good as any tight end in the country right now.
Yeah.
And so we practice against him all the time. Why are we so afraid of this guy Warren? And to the point, we have a Don Schuler and Xavier Watts back there. Al Golden will dial it up. I don't think this guy Warren is going to get off with our safety play. I don't see it.
Yeah, it is. It's a top priority, along with not getting ran on, bracketing him or having somebody shadow him, whatever you need to do. And you don't even need to totally shut him down. You just need to slow him down and not let him break the game for you. Listen, Uncle Al is getting all these national accolades. This is what it's for, Uncle Al. That's why you are regarded as this guy. You got to dial something up for this guy. Freaking Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
When the guy walks in a forest, trees fall over. He's an animal. I admit it. But you got to do something. You got to do something.
Mm-hmm. One more thing I'll say before I get out of here. I do believe that you can get a couple picks off Drew Allen. Like, everyone seems so in love with him all of a sudden. Yeah, he played well against Penn State. Yeah, he played Oregon, in the Big Ten championship game. And yeah, he's played relatively well in the first 2 games of this tournament. I'm not that impressed. I'm really not. And I think our guys can get after it. And with what we showed against Georgia, I definitely think our guys can get after him. I wouldn't just let him, have all day to throw, but I'm not that impressed.
Man, it is. If you rattle him and you make him uncomfortable, he's going to get frustrated. We have seen that with him. He gets frustrated. He gets agitated. You gotta do it, man. So you cannot let him sit there and be comfortable. Bruce, anything else, man? And I'm gonna see what I could do about tomorrow. I got something very, very inconvenient I may have to do. I'll text you later about it.
Yeah, do that, man. Thanks. But no, I don't have anything else, man. Go Irish. Everybody enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks for taking my call, John.
Oh, no problem. Have a good one. I do have a complaint about Bruce's call today. I could tell he's driving and he's on like a speaker. The voice didn't come through as much as when he's in that office at work and he's got that crystal clear phone line. Ooh, baby. WPP. He answered my question honestly. That's all I asked for. Freeman's done a great job, a good job coaching. He does not walk on water, and I still resent running up the score on Stanford. I admit, even if I disagree with the take, I appreciate that he's holding to it and sticking to his guns. I cheer for Notre Dame, not the coach. Got to go. Be good, John. Great show. Hey, I asked for an answer. You don't have to like it. The chat doesn't have to like it. He gave an honest answer. I genuinely wanted to know how he was thinking about it. Angela. Oh, man. It is it's just good to have Rudiger here. It's just good to have Rudiger here. There's no doubt about that. Oh, man. 949, what's going on?
In the words of Louis Leo Holtz, Johnny Biscayne, this sucker doesn't have to be close.
Oh, I like that.
I think the biggest...
I like this. Cook, baby. I like this. Put this in my head. Go. I love it.
And you need to relax.
Do you know who you're dealing with there? If I'm relaxed, check my vitals. I'm probably dead.
Well, you have to remember midpoint, but right before the midpoint of the year, I called in. I said, if this season runs like it could, we may not lose again until 26 or 27.
Ooh.
And here's my take on this game. What Notre Dame has to worry about is not blowing Penn State out too much, because that would be the end of big game James Franklin, and it would tickle the strings of Al Golden.
Now wait, what you got to explain? Now you got to explain to me though, what is giving you all of this confidence with a injured Notre Dame roster? Is it belief from Notre Dame's end? Is it lack of belief in James Franklin? You think he's a fake tough guy, like his whole thing? Like, what is giving you that level of confidence?
It's all of the above. Plus, go back and look. We've got two common opponents in Purdue and USC. And if you dissect, I spent a lot of time just looking at how we fared against those teams, how they fared against those teams. USC is not a bad team. They've got some great athletes on there. Penn State struggled with them in overtime. Basically, I mean, the the score was closer than the game with us.
Yeah.
USC had some spurts and some big plays, and rightfully so. It got those kinds of athletes. Penn State may even have that too. But I don't see this as a struggle for the Irish. I think the biggest is worrying about Al Golden going back to his alma mater.
Man, I'm telling you, it would be, man, if Notre Dame could put together another impressive performance, it would be good for my blood pressure and certainly good for the cause. I don't know, man. I want to be with you there. I think I picked Notre Dame to win by 10. So I do have Notre Dame with a little margin in my prediction. I'm just to the point where I don't feel that it's right to doubt them in this game after the run they've been on. If it ends up Ohio State in the title game, we'll talk about that. I'm not betting against Notre Dame in this moment. They've earned too much credibility, and I'm just not going to do it.
They are hungry, and they are tight. I mean, just listen to the guys from the '88 team, and they love this team too because they're a lot alike, and that's so fun to hear them talking about this team and talk about Marcus. There's a love coming between the past and the future, where Coach Burger King had cut them out.
Yeah, it is. Man, Jeez, I'm glad you have this level of confidence. That makes me feel good, man. I needed that to kind of wind down the show here. I needed some of that. And I don't know, man. I want to see Notre Dame. Do you have any fear at all of what I'm talking about, where my fear is that Notre Dame just physically runs out of gas, too many injuries? You can't keep playing at that intensity level and physicality this long without a drop off. Is that a fear to you at all? It is a me.
What it comes down to is mindset. And when you have that strength of mindset and camaraderie within a team, you're going to do anything and everything for your brother. Look at Riley putting it on the line. Yeah, they're banged up, but so is Penn State. And it comes down to will, and I think Notre Dame is more mentally tough than Penn State, so much so that I got double on the victory nachos. Ooh. And we're getting them ready for tomorrow night. I'm already here in Miami. That's another thing I wanted to find out. Does your brother know where he will be in the parking lot and when he'll plan on setting up?
Let me see.
I'm gonna go check it out.
All right, here's what he said, and I could give more information on this. His chat said, orange lot east of stadium, always Irish flag flying. So that's as much details as I got. Orange lot east of stadium. He does have one of my flags, the white with the blue and gold and, whatever, always Irish colors. That's as much info as I got right now.
Perfect. That'll help. I'm a cheapskate, so I park in the Walmart lot and walk over.
There you go. Hey man, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm just thankful my brother wanted to represent and be there. And I think it's an hour drive, hour and a half maybe for him from his place, so it's easy for him to get in and out of there. And we're gonna have a little Always Irish contingent, man. Hey, thanks for the call today.
Yep, go Irish. God bless everybody.
Oh, God bless everybody, even Ronald McDonald. All right, guys, this is going to be upsetting, but I got to get going. I got a kid to get ready for school. I got childcare stuff going on that isn't the normal, and I got to get going. I could stay here all day, but I got to get going. So here's the deal. I got something coming out on YouTube tomorrow morning. Just a little. Yeah, she's in preschool. There's like a morning shift and an afternoon shift. And with our schedules, it makes sense for her to do the 12 to 3. I'm not lying. There's a morning and an afternoon thing. So she does the noon to 3 o'clock. Kids start at noon. When you're like 4, when you're 3 and 4 and you're in preschool or kindergarten or whatever, it's 3 hours. I don't know. I just got to get her dressed to get her on the bus in one piece. Okay. I got something. It's only 11 o'clock here, not 12. I have something for you guys tomorrow morning. I'm going to have the chat up for the game. I got a Patreon coming out. Like we're trying to ride this thing, but stay tuned. I'm not going to do a pregame show tomorrow. Again, I got kid stuff going on. I'm going to put out a video in the morning that'll run, and then we'll do the postgame show. I'll set up that stream so that people can chat during the game, and then we'll go live after. So it'll be video in the morning and then the postgame show tomorrow, and we'll go from there. You guys, this is it. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. This is big time. This is big time. So thank you all for being here. I'm sorry I couldn't get to more calls. Thank you for the donations. I really appreciate John's in the same class. I'm like Billy Madison, and they're like, John's here, and he is an inconvenience. He is a menace. Ignore him. And then I get out there with the dodgeball. Now you're all in big, big trouble. You get out there and you find that blanket dog. Oh, my God. I love you guys. Oh, I love you guys. All right. Hang in there, everybody. Keep your sanity. We're almost there. Thank you for everything.